We stopped about the تعليق.
I didn't even get it last week, that's why.
You didn't?
Understand it properly.
You didn't understand it?
Properly, yeah. It's just...
The تعليق?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you understand it?
No, 100%.
You? Not 100%.
تعليق. I forgot what تعليق.
تعليق is... Okay.
We was going through the recording. We were going through the recording at home.
You couldn't understand it?
Probably not.
Okay. No problem. We can repeat it. It's better than we understand something properly rather than... Now, do you understand what ta'liq is?
Yeah.
Ta'liq hadith is broken. Hanging. That is in the Arabic language. But ta'liq is hadith which is broken.
Not at the top, at the bottom.
At the bottom. You see Bukhari, when he reports, when I say Abdul Fattah told me, that Ismail told him, that Yasir told him,
That the Prophet...
that Khalid told him. Now this is hadith. The bottom of the hadith is the narrator, me, if I write it down in my book. The head of the hadith will be Khalid here. Yeah? Now, if the hadith is broken anywhere, it's broken. It's broken at the top between the Prophet and not the Sahabi. Between Sahabi and the Prophet we can't say it's broken generally. Yeah. Generally it will be not broken because the Sahabi was there. He saw the Prophet. Generally, sometimes it's broken. But between Tabi'i,
Prophet?
between Prophet and the Tabi'i, that is mursal. That is, we will come to that later. But now it's broken here. Between me, if I say Ismail said, and you know that I have never met Ismail, or I said Yasir said, or I said Khalid said, so that is Muallaq. No, it's not a question of da'if or not da'if. Here, definitely da'if. Unless we can verify it somewhere else where he got it, then it will be da'if, because I don't know who, you don't know who told me that Ismail said so and so. I never met him. So, now me, I will be here, like I'm talking Bukhari. Bukhari narrating from Malik, when he never met him. We know that he never met Malik.
Big space.
So we say, not big space, just one person between him and Malik. So, but we don't know who is this person. So we have to verify first who is this person. So that hadith will be Muallaq. You understand? Yeah. We call it Muallaq. So that is the definition of hadith Muallaq, the understanding of hadith Muallaq. Yes. So this hadith is broken, but it's broken not anywhere, it's broken at the bottom, between Bukhari, between the narrator of the book, the writer of the book. When someone in the book mentions hadith, but he doesn't say where he got it from, he straight away go to the isnad, whether he says the Prophet said or below the Prophet, that will be Muallaq. Do you understand this part?
Yeah.
Is it clear? Yeah. Enough? Clear, okay. Now, what he is talking here, he said that this book about the ta'liq which is in Bukhari, not any ta'liq in any book, no ta'liq in Bukhari. So what they say? They say what Bukhari narrated with the sigha of jazm. I need a pen. I have a pen. I need a piece of paper. Anyone with a piece of paper? At the top. Yeah, he put it there for some reasons, but we are going to use it for something else. Okay. Not very important? Yeah. Okay. Now, just if you try to memorize for me some few names, it will be easy. Now this is the Prophet at the top. Yeah? And then from him, Ibn Umar will narrate. And from him, it will be Nafi'. Yeah. Because when you write like this.
I'll get a book.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I have the book already. So, Now, you have to understand, this is how. The Prophet, Ibn Umar is his companion. They were living in the same time. The Prophet died, Ibn Umar lived after him. And then Nafi' was met Ibn Umar. But when Nafi' was born, the Prophet was not there anymore. So Ibn Umar will, like one generation tell the other generation. You understand? Your great-grandfather told your grandfather, and grandfather told your father, and your... just like this. So Nafi' told Malik, and Malik told Ismail, and Ismail told Bukhari. Ismail ibn Abi Uwais is the nephew of Malik. He is considered not to be strong in hadith. But let's forget him now about whether he is strong or not. Now, if Bukhari brings this hadith here in his Sahih, that hadith is fine. It is muttasil, not broken at all. But sometimes Bukhari will not say this. Sometimes Bukhari will say, just like this, Malik said, that Nafi' said, that Ibn Umar said, that the Prophet said. Or he will say, Nafi' said, that Ibn Umar said, that the Prophet said. Sometimes maybe he will say, the Prophet said. The Bukhari will say, the Prophet said. So this is what's like Bukhari, the Prophet said. All this is...
So this is Muallaq.
That is Muallaq. When Bukhari says, the Prophet said, that is Muallaq. It's hanging, like, you understand? It's like the book, like Bukhari is here, and the Prophet is there. And then like there is a rope between everyone, and that doesn't exist, so it's hanging. You understand? There is nothing to connect him to the ground. So that is how they call it. So they put it in their views. It's like chain, and that chain now is not connected to the ground. It's like Bukhari is in the ground, the Prophet is up, and then there is chain between them. Now if the chain is cut, the chain will be hanging. So that is, they think like, oh, it is chain. So they say it's hanging. Now, if Bukhari says, he says, ما علقه البخاري بصيغة الجزم فصحيح إلى ما علقه عنه. If Bukhari say, Malik said, that Nafi' said, that Ibn Umar said, that the Prophet said. Look, he will not say Malik, he will say Malik said. What he means here, what they say? They say definitely here, when Bukhari says Malik said, he said it with certainty. That he knows that Malik said. So he heard it from someone trustworthy, even though we don't know who is. But that is, he is saying this is Malik said, so he is sure that Malik said it. So he says, if Bukhari says the Prophet said, then he is sure the Prophet said it. So according to him, it will be sahih. Otherwise, he will be lying about the Prophet. But there is a difference between him saying the Prophet said and between him saying Malik said, or Nafi' said, or Ibn Umar said. What is the difference here? If he says the Prophet said, he say, I am sure the Prophet said it. But when he say Malik said, he is sure that Malik said it. Whether the Prophet said it or not, like when he say, Bukhari says Malik said, that Nafi' said, that Ibn Umar said, that the Prophet said so and so. What he is saying, I am sure Malik said it. Above Malik, look at it, I gave you this chain, decide, you make your decision. Do you understand this part?
Yeah.
So this is the part that I thought it will be difficult for you to understand. Because Now, if the hadith of the music, Bukhari says, Hisham bin Ammar said. So he is sure that Hisham bin Ammar said. Now someone will say, okay, so Bukhari, this hadith is according to Bukhari Sahih. You say, no, it is not Sahih. He said Hisham bin Ammar said, that Abd al-Rahman bin Yazid bin Jabir said, that Atiyya bin Qais said, that, but this is not, he put it to you. Look at it and make your decision. Whether the Prophet, when the Prophet said it or not, it's not, he didn't take that responsibility. You understand? There is a difference between.
Did he say حدثني Hisham?
No, he said قال Hisham.
If he said حدثني, that means.
If he say حدثني Hisham and he bring all the isnad, that is his way to, he is that hadith according to him.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with him or you don't, that is another matter. So, but according to him, this hadith, now whether this hadith is sahih or not, we will talk about this. What we want to say here, but here he is not saying that this hadith is sahih or the Prophet said it. He is saying Hisham bin Ammar said it. You understand? There is big difference. If Khalid now comes to me and say the Imam in al-Muntada said so and so. Now if I trust him fully, like I trust him that he doesn't lie, and I trust him that he is careful, he know what he understand, and he say it. Some people you can they are trustworthy, they don't lie, but they make mistake, they hear something and they think he's saying. So if I trust him fully, later on I will just talk and say the Imam of Muntada said. I know that he said, because the person that who told me is. But if I'm not sure, I will say, look, Khalid told me that he said. I'm not taking responsibility. So if someone later comes and say, oh, you like deceived me, I say, no, I didn't. I told you that Khalid told me. And Khalid told me. Now, you understand? Now it's up to you, above Khalid, it's up to you if he said the truth or not. It's between him and you. You understand? So this is how. Now when we say Muallaq, now Bukhari, I'm saying Khalid told me, and we are talking about Muallaq. This is not Muallaq anymore. But now that is how Bukhari is telling you that this hadith, I am not his way to say this hadith is sahih. He will bring the full narration. This hadith, I am not sure, and therefore don't take me responsible. This is not part of my book, I just put it there. He will bring the hadith as hanging. That is his way. Ibn Hajar said this, and many others. If you look at the hadith, if you follow the hadith, you will find that there is 3 reasons why Bukhari will bring hadith hanging, not with the full chain. For 3 reasons. One, the hadith is not from the Prophet, is from Sahabi. And that book is not for the Sahaba, it's for the Prophet. So if the hadith Ibn Umar said, Ibn Umar gave a fatwa, Ibn Umar used to do, that is not Ibn Umar cut his beard. It's not his business. It's not his, the book is not for that, what Ibn Umar used to do. It's for what the Prophet used to do. So he will not mind. He will bring the hadith Muallaq. That is one way. Another place where he bring hadith Muallaq, this hadith he already mentioned it fully. So he doesn't want to repeat it. So he will bring just part of it. Another reason is this hadith I don't consider it to be sahih. Yeah, I'm just narrating this hadith because in this matter that I'm mentioning, I don't know any hadith sahih. You see, sometimes there is a matter where the Prophet haven't spoken about everything that matters in the religion. But now he is going to talk. There is a hadith that says that people will drink alcohol and give it a different name. Not necessary that the Prophet will talk about this subject. It's haram to drink alcohol. Huh? And if you drink alcohol and just call it syrup to make it halal, that is worse. Like playing with a religion. You understand? The fact that there is no hadith in this matter, it's not necessary that you have hadith. Alcohol is haram anyway. Whether you drink it, you give it different name, you don't give it different name. But he comes and he is talking about drinks. So there is hadith here that speaks about people will drink. He doesn't agree with the hadith, but he wants to mention it. So he will mention it, and he will not bring the full isnad, because it doesn't. You will find Bukhari doing this with the hadith that he doesn't agree. Such the hadith, for example, the hadith Abu Huraira caught Iblis stealing dates. When we know that Iblis can't be, Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ وَقَبِيلُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُ. He can see you from where you can't see them. When the hadith says, the hadith in Muslim says that the jinn don't eat what normally human eat. So what is the necessity for Iblis to leave all the palaces of the kings when he can go enter in and come out without anybody, leave all the fruits and the meat and that they have, and they come to the food of the Medina trying to steal it. And Iblis was caught by Abu Huraira. You understand? That is, the Prophet was struggling when was praying, and Iblis came to cut his prayer. And the Prophet was like pushing, and you understand? To push him. The Sahaba didn't say anything, but the Prophet said, he came trying to cut my prayer, and then he caught him. You understand? And he said, if it wasn't for the dua that of Sulaiman, I would have, because Sulaiman said, Rabbi habli mulkan la yanbaghi li ahadin min ba'di. Give me a kingdom, a power that nobody will have. He had the power to catch the jinn, to use them. Abu Huraira doesn't have that power, because Sulaiman made dua that nobody will have this power. But he was able to catch Iblis. Now this hadith here is in Bukhari, but because of the weirdness of the hadith, and Bukhari will mention it just Muallaq. So if someone says Bukhari narrated the hadith, it is not true, because Bukhari, even though he narrated it from his sheikh, he heard it directly from the person, but he will not say حدثنا. He will say قال عثمان بن الهيثم.
So you say it's not narrated by Bukhari, just mentioned.
You don't say, you say Muallaq in Bukhari. So Bukhari here is not taking responsibility, and then he will give you, he will say Uthman bin Haytham said, and then he will give you the full isnad. He will not say the Prophet said, he said the truth, صدقك وهو كذوب, or Abu Huraira said. You understand? Because if Abu Huraira said it, definitely then it will be sahih. Now if we reach the stage where Abu Huraira have spoken, said this story, or either the Prophet or Abu Huraira, then definitely the hadith will be sahih. But below them, you have to look who are these people. So for him, he is not taking responsibility. That is hadith mu'allaq. Do you have an idea now about what hadith mu'allaq is?
So when he says hadathana, that means he's 100% sure.
He is 100% sure, whether you agree with him or not. And the majority will say, if he say hadathana, then definitely it's sahih. The majority of the Muslims. When he say qala, then it's not the majority anymore. Then there are even lesser people who say it is sahih. Now there is no, like what they call, some people call it ijma', the first one, when he say haddathana, they say the ummah has agreed that this book is sahih, and they mean where they say haddathana. Where he say qala, then they will say not ijma' anymore. They will say many will not accept, even though still the majority saying, but they will not call it ijma' anymore. So now when he say qala, there is another way when he say it has been narrated. Yeah, then it's very few people who will say this hadith is sahih. has been said. It has been said that the Prophet said. He doesn't say the Prophet said. It has been said that the Prophet said, or it has been said that Ibn Umar said, or it has been. Now, no, that is not balagh. This is still muallaq, ta'liq. But the first one we say ta'liq بصيغة الجزم, ta'liq with certainty. He said. Now they call it تعليق بصيغة التمريض. تمريض. It has been said. You see, when the newspapers here in this country, when they write about story, someone has been arrested, they will say the allegedly or claiming that he has killed his wife, because they are afraid. If they say he killed, then later if he is found not guilty, he will take them to sue them. After he has been convicted, then they say the killer of so and so. Then you understand, because they say it's not our responsibility. The judge made the decision now, and so the sigha of tamrid, like someone is not sure. It has been said, the Prophet said. It's not my, but he says the Prophet said, then he's mean I know the Prophet said it. You understand? So that is the muallaq, what we say in Bukhari. He say, so what he says here, Ibn Kathir say, whatever Bukhari does ta'liq with sigha of jazm, with certainty, then it is sahih up to the person he does ta'liq from. If he says Malik said, what he is saying, it is sahih that Malik said it. Now above Malik, check it yourself. If he says, Bukhari says Nafi' said, then it is sahih. Above Nafi', you have to check. Now what he is saying is sahih up to Nafi'. That is also something that I will not agree about, and many people will not agree about. They will say it is sahih according to Bukhari, whether we agree with Bukhari or not. Definitely it is sahih according to Bukhari, because Bukhari say Nafi' said, so he is taking responsibility. He will not lie about Nafi'. But after Nafi', it's up to you to look. But that is what Bukhari believes, whether you agree with him or not. You don't have to agree with Bukhari really. So do you understand this part? He said, Ibn Kathir, he said whatever, but when Bukhari says it has been said, you can't say it is sahih, neither according to Bukhari, neither according to anyone. He says, but we can't make about ta'liq of Bukhari. He said, when Bukhari said it has been said, the Prophet said, you can't say that it is sahih, but you can't also say that is da'if. It has to be looked at. The fact that he said it has been said, it doesn't mean sahih or da'if. It means look, check yourself. He said because some of the hadith where Bukhari said it has been said, you can find them in Muslim. With isnad which is considered to be sahih according to others. But Bukhari, if he say it has been narrated, definitely he considered it to be da'if. You understand? Now he said, but we should not consider it to be da'if. You understand? He said because some of this hadith that he says it has been said is considered to be we find it in Muslim. You understand? So that will be, if you say here, if he say we take what Bukhari opinion, you will be contradicting another thing, that Muslim is sahih altogether. You understand? So they will have problem here. They have either to say Bukhari is wrong by considering this hadith to be da'if, or they have to say that Muslim, but what they say no, Bukhari is wrong. Here they don't have problem to say Bukhari is wrong about every time Bukhari say about hadith, and Bukhari consider many hadith in Muslim to be da'if, they say Bukhari is wrong. They say Muslim is right. But here you can see the contradiction. The Ummah agreed Bukhari and Muslim is sahih, when Bukhari may consider hadith in Muslim to be da'if.
Even Tirmidhi considers some hadith.
Tirmidhi considers some hadith in Bukhari da'if. He is student. Many times if we read Tirmidhi together, we come across hadith where he say this hadith is muttarib. Bukhari put it in his book because he is the student of Bukhari. So the story about the Ummah agreed, the truth is just these muqallidin, these followers who follow blindly, and their opinion is not, the opinion of someone who doesn't have an opinion is not an opinion. Yeah, I mean someone who says, look, this hadith in Bukhari is sahih, according to Nawawi, according to Ibn Hajar, according to Ibn Taymiyyah, according to Dhahabi, according to Iraqi, according to Ibn al-Qayyim. Did they do anything so we consider that opinion? Did they do anything? Did they explain anything? They say this hadith is sahih because it's in Bukhari. Does it matter? Every single Muslim, every old woman, just start mentioning the old woman of Somalia and China, because also they say the same thing. Just mention their names. She agreed and she agreed. It doesn't matter. It matters when someone look at the hadith and try to explain it, why he considered. Then we will mention, yeah, Bukhari said it's sahih, Ibn Hajar said it's sahih because Ibn Hajar went and did some research and tried to strengthen the hadith, Iraqi for example. But someone who said this hadith is sahih because it's in Bukhari, such as Dhahabi or such as Ibn Taymiyyah or Ibn Qayyim, or these people, it's not opinion. The opinion of the person who is considerate when he say this hadith is sahih and explain why.
Yeah, I mean they're saying that any hadith in Sahih has passed the bridges around it.
That is not true. So, he says, in Bukhari, so this is what we spoke about. Is it clearer than before? Hopefully. He says, whatever now the hadith of Bukhari, we know that there is musnad and there is muallaq. There is the full isnad and there is the hanging ones. He said, as for the hadith which is found in Bukhari just to be muallaq, not musnad and muallaq, because sometimes he doesn't want to repeat himself, but only muallaq. And not the ones that are from the Sahaba. The ones that are from the Sahaba, we gave the reason. It's not because the weakness in the isnad. It's because he doesn't want to mention the full isnad, because it's not something that he is concerned about in his book. So what he is saying here, we know for the hadith that is, he says any hadith that is muallaq in Sahih Bukhari, if when it is sahih, it's not as sahih as the one which is musnad. You understand? No, we have hadith sahih in Bukhari that is musnad, full chain. But some are, we say, that are muallaq. The muallaq, it's not necessarily da'if, is it? It's not necessarily da'if. It may be da'if, it may be sahih. He said, but if it's found to be sahih, then it won't be as strong as the one which is musnad. He said, that's why he didn't want to put it. You understand? Because he, according to him, there is something with it. That's why he didn't put it. So even if you find to be sahih, it won't be as strong as the sahih.
As the muttasil.
Yeah. So he said, now, this saying here, when Ibn Kathir say this, he definitely doesn't mean the hadith which is from the Sahaba. Because the one from the Sahaba, the reason why he doesn't mention them is not because of the strength of the isnad, is because he doesn't want to mention them all together. He's not concerned with the Sahaba said, he is concerned with the Prophet said. So that definitely he doesn't mean this kind of muallaq. Also, it is not the kind which is found to be sahih with the full isnad somewhere else. Like in one chapter is with full isnad, and in one chapter is part isnad. This he doesn't want to repeat himself. And you can't say, oh, this hadith is sahih in the book of wudu, it is da'if in the book of Jum'ah. You understand? You find the hadith that says, if it wasn't to make it difficult of my ummah, for my ummah, I will make a wudu, siwak obligation on them. You find it in the book of wudu, for example, the book of Jum'ah and the book of fasting. You don't say in the book of Jum'ah this hadith is sahih and in the book it's the same hadith. So definitely he doesn't mean this one as well. So which one he means? he means the one that is from the Prophet, but not with the full isnad, and it has not been repeated in the other place, such as the hadith of the music, according to him. You understand? So even Ibn Kathir here will have to say, oh, the hadith of the music is not as strong as it should be, because of his understanding. Now he has made this comment. With his comment, we can force him to say, we say, look, you said this, so you have to say that this hadith here is not, even though maybe it could be sahih, it's not as sahih as the other hadith.
If the Bukhari says Ibn Umar Salama said.
Ibn Umar that Salama said.
No. If Bukhari says Ibn Umar or Salama said.
Yeah, that is Muallaq.
What is he considering?
Well, he just he is giving an opinion of the Sahaba, because the matter.
No, but she said or he said, the Prophet said.
Yes. So he says he is sure that Salama said it.
But this is definitely sahih.
Definitely sahih. Definitely sahih.
Okay.
Like when he says the Prophet said. Huh?
Yeah.
You understand? Definitely sahih according to him.
Okay.
You understand? Why he didn't bring the full isnad? That is because the isnad to him is not, as Bukhari has a condition in his book to bring this hadith, which is the most strong hadith. Out of the book that he has written, Bukhari is just not very special when it comes. He has no special conditions. Out of the Sahih, there are so many hadith that he says Sahih, and people will say it's da'if. Many. You understand? So it's not
in his book or
outside of the Sahih. Outside of the Sahih, he will make hadith Sahih that people will make da'if. So for him, this hadith is Sahih, but it's not Sahih enough to be in the book. So he will say Salama said, because he will say Abdullah bin Amr ibn al-As said, because Amr ibn Shu'ayb, who is weak, he doesn't consider Amr ibn Shu'ayb to be good enough for his book. But his hadith, he will consider them to be sahih. He will take them into consideration. So, but if he want to put it in his book, he will say Abdullah bin Amr ibn al-As said. He will not mention the full isnad, because these people are not worthy of my book. This book is special just for the very strong hadith.
But when Bukhari says Ibn Umar said, it's up to you to take it from Bukhari.
No, Bukhari says it is sahih. According to him, it is sahih, but it is not sahih enough. You understand? So Bukhari, what we say here, the truth is, when Bukhari says the hadith, if Bukhari write a hadith and swear by Allah 100 times that this hadith is sahih, we still have to look at it, and it might be not sahih. He believes it that it's sahih. He is not lying. That's what he believes. But you don't have to follow what he believes. You understand? That is, there is nothing in the Quran and Sunnah that says follow Bukhari blindly. And there is nothing in the Quran and Sunnah that says Bukhari will never make a mistake. So that is people who like to exaggerate. Like if someone knows something, he knows a lot, he means that he knows everything. He says if Bukhari, now here what he says when Bukhari say he told me, rather, no, he told me, it can be haddathani, it can be qala li. Now the istilah, in the istilah amongst the muhaddithin, they will say haddathana. They don't say qala. This is how it came, generation, they learned it, this is how the muhaddithin do it. Now they say, why Bukhari will say qala? Now he will say qala li, he told me. Now it's not hanging anymore. It's, the chain is connected. It's not qala, so he said, maybe he said when he was not there, but no, he said he told me, qala li. So what is the difference here? He said if Bukhari say qala lana or qala li, this is considered to be connected according to the majority. The people of Maghrib, the Moroccans and the Spanish, they say this is ta'liq. How can this be ta'liq? Is Bukhari a liar? He is not.
He confirmed it.
Yeah, he said he told me. All we say here, but they say this ta'liq, and he bring it because it's not like concrete evidence, like a strong evidence. He just bring it like a backup, extra evidence. To say he bring it as extra evidence, that is true. But to call it ta'liq, you understand? It's not ta'liq because definitely it is connected. Bukhari is not a liar.
How many hadiths in Bukhari are there where he says قال لي?
قال لي, there is few. You will find especially the ones from the Sahaba. Ahmad ibn Hanbal told me. You will find that he said Ahmad ibn Hanbal told me. You understand? And Ahmad ibn Hanbal was his sheikh. But Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he met him, he was old. So, but and he doesn't narrate from Ahmad ibn Hanbal a lot anyway. So, what Ibn Salah has said, what the Maghariba said, is not right. What he said if Bukhari says, he mentioned someone called al-Hafiz Ahmad bin Hamdan, Hafiz bin Hamdan, he said that Bukhari says, when he say قال لي rather than حدثنا, he doesn't, why he said it? He says it because he didn't take it in the majlis of samah. What is majlis of samah? The place of listening for hadith. Sometime the muhaddithin after the Sahaba and the first generation, what they do? They have special places for hadith. The Shaykh will be sitting with the book, clearing his mind, thinking, and then he will say the hadith, reading from the book, people will be writing. This is what they call majlis samah. They are very careful when they do this. Sometimes the muhaddithin are sitting just like this. No hadith is finished, and then they are talking, and everyone will say, oh, so and so told me from so and so. So they are not really very careful, or no. They don't like to take hadith from these such places. They say, look, he was not prepared, concentrating, not for hadith. He just talking, and then some matter came, and then he said, maybe he memorized, maybe he didn't, maybe. So they said, some people made a claim. They said Bukhari will say qala when he hears the hadith in such place. You understand?
How do you know that?
Claims. That's why we say this is claim which you can't accept unless Bukhari says himself that. I mean, Ibn Hajar made a claim. He said if Bukhari say qala, it's because one of three reasons. That claim, if you go to the Bukhari, the book, you will find that evidence. You will find that all the hadith that are said qala, it's either this or either this or either this. Not one hadith only. So many hadith that gives you the reason. Okay, every hadith that says qala, it's either been repeated somewhere else, or it is the saying of a sahabi, or it is a hadith which is there is something wrong with in the isnad. So it is, even though he didn't say it himself, something like this we call it istiqra', like surveying, looking and then coming with the, you understand? But when someone says, oh, because this hadith he heard it somewhere else, you can never be able to verify something like this. It's not possible. If you look at the book and survey, you can't find this. What if someone says no, because he was lying down when he heard this hadith, or was sleeping, he saw it in his dream? I mean, this is claims. You can never find, if you look at the book, you can't find something like this. Yeah. So this is, he says also, Ibn Salah has refuted Ibn Hazm when he rejected the hadith of the music. So because Bukhari said قال هشام بن عمار, he says, Ibn Salah says Ibn Hazm has been mistaken because this hadith comes from many different narrations from Hisham bin Ammar. So if Bukhari didn't say حدثنا, still it's not a problem. He said because it is known to be the hadith of Hisham bin Ammar anyway. Ibn Hazm was definitely wrong in that hadith, in rejecting that hadith on the basis that it is broken between Bukhari and Hisham bin Ammar, because even though it is probably broken between Bukhari and Hisham bin Ammar, it is known from other narrations that Hisham bin Ammar said it. So if he said, if Bukhari Ibn Hazm said this, he would not have been, nobody would have given him an answer. Why Bukhari didn't say حدثنا for this hadith? Why he went against his rules and said قال rather than حدثنا? Who is Atiyya ibn Qais in the Isnad? Now that is a man that is not known to people, and to those who is known, he is known to be weak. So Bukhari didn't say. So why do you say this? Why Bukhari mentioned this hadith? The rule of Bukhari is to narrate hadith weak with qala. Now if you say this hadith is sahih, prove that this that Bukhari
What does Hazm say about Atiyya ibn Qais?
he say in this hadith he didn't mention anything about Atiyya ibn Qais. Somewhere else he said Atiyya ibn Qais is majhul.
Hazm.
Yeah. You see, when I was debating with Hani Sibai about this matter, he came, he said, he told me, look, you are following Ibn Hazm. Ibn Hazm made a mistake, because Ibn Hazm thought that the hadith is broken between Hisham bin Ammar and Bukhari. If Ibn Hazm have seen what Ibn Hajar has written and the connection between Bukhari and Hisham bin Ammar, that he was there, he would have changed his mind. I said, if he knew that, he would not have changed his mind. Because people after Ibn Hazm, all this, they say, if Ibn Hazm knew this, they would have changed his mind. So I told him, I said, if he knew this, he would not have changed his mind, because he said about Atiyya ibn Qais somewhere else, he is majhul. So I said, if he didn't, he couldn't find any. There is no answer there. So he said, now Ibn Kathir says, قلت, that this hadith is narrated by Ahmad in his Musnad, and Abu Dawud, hadith of music. Ibn Kathir says, this hadith is narrated in Musnad Ahmad and in Abu Dawud in the Sunan, and al-Barqani also narrated it in his book. Barqani is mustakhraj. You know what mustakhraj? He said, and many others, they narrated it with full isnad to Hisham bin Ammar and to his sheikh also, not only from Hisham bin Ammar, from another narration other than Hisham bin Ammar. Yeah, he said, the way I have showed it, I have explained it in the book of Ahkam. So he explained in book of Ahkam that Ibn Hazm was wrong, so he made this hadith sahih. However, Ibn Hajar has answered to those who said this hadith is sahih in Musnad Ahmad. Ibn Hajar don't agree. In a way, when he does discuss this matter, he answered to Ibn Hazm.
And he answers to them.
But he answered to them. He say, all the narration that you mention, that you say it's in Musnad Ahmad and in the, is sahih, that this hadith has been mentioned there. But in those Musnad Ahmad and Abu Dawud, there is no mentioning of instrument of music. The hadith is different narration, yeah. So there, the mention is different a little bit, and the mentioning of music instrument. So he said they still have problem, because the other narrations, he said, we are talking here about the instrument of music, and in Abu Dawud they are not mentioned. So, and then he says, then he mentions that the Ummah, Ibn Salah, mentions that the Ummah have accepted these books, the two books, yeah, to be sahih. Yeah, Ibn Salah say that the Ummah have accepted these two books, except very few words. Not few hadith, few words, like this hadith, there is this word, it's not a mistake, or he said few words that some Huffaz, such as Daraqutni, rejected them, such as Daraqutni and others. And then let's, number one, the guy here, Ahmed Shakir, you heard about Ahmed Shakir?
The narrators.
No, the narrator of this book is Ibn Kathir. But the commentator of this, the one who comments about this book is Ahmed Shakir. Ahmed Shakir is an Egyptian who died about 20 years ago.
In 50.
No, he died in the 80s.
No.
Ahmed Shakir, he died in the 80s. So,
okay.
No.
That's okay.
I'm talking about Mubarak Fori probably.
He
Or,
was the judge in the 50s.
yeah,
Sorry.
he was judge in the 50s in Egypt. When the king was there. So here, Ahmed Shakir is considered to be the teacher of Albani in Hadith. You understand? Albani learned Hadith not directly from him, but from his books. So he claims that he is his teacher. What he says here, he says the truth, which is there is no doubt about it, according to the people of Hadith and those who followed them, that the Hadith of Bukhari and Muslim are sahih altogether. Yasir, welcome salam. So what he says here, he says there is no, that the sahih, the truth, which is there is no doubt about it, that the hadith that are in Bukhari and Muslim are all sahih without any, and there is no any thing wrong with them or any says what Daraqutni, yes, he said what Daraqutni and other from the Huffaz have said about this hadith. He says not that these hadith are da'if. He said the hadith that the Daraqutni and other Huffaz have spoken about in Bukhari and Muslim, it's not that because they are da'if. He said because just they say are not very strong according to the condition of Bukhari. He said as for the hadith, all the hadith to be sahih, nobody has ever contradicted this. So don't think that those who have disease in their hearts and those who make these claims, you should never care about how loud they shout, how when they say that there is in Bukhari and Muslim hadith which are not sahih. So this is someone who is very considered to be very big muhaddith, but when you hear what he says here, you think, what was wrong with this man when he wrote this? Was he normal?
Yeah.
I mean, in Bukhari,
He researched.
in Bukhari, yeah, if he researched, he will find that Bukhari, despite that people claim that the whole Ummah agree about, and Bukhari is much stronger than Muslim anyway. Bukhari, most of the hadith of Bukhari are sahih, more better than Muslim, and Muslim is better than the other books. However, to say all hadith in Bukhari are sahih, and the whole Ummah have agreed about this, and everybody says this. The Malikis, the number of the hadith that Malikis have said is da'if because it contradicts their madhab. The number of hadith that the Hanafis have said is da'if because it contradicts their madhab. Such as the hadith of Musarrat about someone who sells a goat with the milk like 3 days without, like cheating. You see, you leave a goat for 3 days and then it's full of milk.
Breast.
So the breast full of milk. When you sell it and the buyer will see the breast full, he will think that this is what happens every day. And then the Sharia says that if someone does it, he can return it within 3 days. This hadith, but he must return with it 1 sa' of dates. The Ahnaf consider this to be riba, and they make this hadith da'if. That's an example. Even the Hanbalis now, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim say that the hadith of Bukhari all are sahih, and then they come to the hadith of that the Prophet have done hijama while fasting and in state of ihram. This hadith is in Bukhari, and they say it's weak because Ahmad bin Hanbal said this hadith is weak. You understand?
Just to follow the hadith.
Yeah, and this hadith is a mistake. He done the hijama while he was in ihram, and he has done hijama also when he was fasting, not when he was in ihram and fasting in the same time, because there has never been fasting when he was in ihram. So
if he had just read the hadith Sari,
yeah,
he wouldn't have said this.
no, there is so few hadith. For example, there is a hadith. I told you that in Muslim, now to say the whole ummah agrees. Now Ibn Hazm, Ahmed Shakir, is one of the people who did commentary on the book of Ibn Hazm, and he has come across many hadith where Ibn Hazm will say this hadith is da'if. So how can the whole ummah agreed? Also, there is so many hadith in Muslim that Bukhari says they are da'if. And
Abu Zur'a.
yes, there is.
Does Muslim say the same for Bukhari?
Muslim? No, Muslim didn't say. Muslim didn't like Bukhari. But he didn't say that the hadith of Bukhari are da'if. He, according to, because his condition are lesser than the condition of Bukhari, so he can't. However, the people who used to teach Muslims, such as Abu Zur'a and Muslim bin Wara and Abu Hatim, consider many hadith which are in Bukhari and Muslim to be weak. And also, just if he read, now Ibn Hajar is one of the biggest followers of Bukhari. Ibn Hajar is someone who will say Bukhari is Sahih. One of these people who make this claim, very strongly defend Sahih Bukhari. However, he comes to a hadith and he will say this hadith, I don't know how to defend Bukhari. You understand? I give you example, the hadith which is very famous here. Two hadith in Bukhari, in the book of Tafsir. One about the mushrikeen with the Prophet, and another regarding the yes, you know this hadith that the Salafis use a lot, that Ibn Abbas said وَلَا تَذَرُنَّ وَدًّا وَلَا سُوَاعًا وَلَا يَغُوثَ وَيَعُوقَ وَنَسْرًا. When they say the people who go to graves are mushrik, they use this hadith. They say they used to Wud, Suwa', Yaghuth, Ya'uq, Nasr. This is 5 gods that the people of Nuh used to worship. Now in Bukhari, from Ibn Abbas, that these 5 gods, statue, idols, were in general, normally 5 good people, 5 pious people. And then people later, when they died, they said, let's make some pictures of them, like some idols, so we can remember them. So when we remember them, it helps us in doing good things. So later, generation after generation, they started worshipping them. Now this is in Bukhari. Now Bukhari, where did Bukhari learn hadith from? Ali ibn al-Madini. Ali ibn al-Madini is the teacher of Bukhari. He had a book of Ilal, the book that speaks about Ilal of hadith. And this is one of the best books ever. Bukhari, what Bukhari says about Ali ibn al-Madini, he say, I have never felt like low or small in my knowledge except when I am with Ali ibn al-Madini, because he was so strong in hadith. Ali ibn al-Madini in his time, he is, well, when we spoke about Ilal al-Hadith, the strongest person ever about Ilal al-Hadith, Ali ibn al-Madini, Abu Hatim al-Razi, Daraqutni. But Ali ibn al-Madini, he is considered to be like the founder, because Bukhari knew, Daraqutni after them, many other, but he was like one of the best. He was the beginning. He is the teacher of Bukhari. And before him there is Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan. He learned from Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan. It was him, Amr ibn Ali al-Fallas, and those. Now Ali ibn al-Madini, what he says about this hadith? He said this hadith is a mistake. This hadith is a mistake because this hadith is narrated by someone called Hisham bin Yusuf from Ibn Jurayj, from Ata from Ibn Abbas. And Hisham bin Yunus, he said that Ibn Jurayj told him that he went to Ata ibn Abi Rabah and he asked him, teach me the tafsir of Ibn Abbas. But Ata ibn Abi Rabah refused to teach him the tafsir of Ibn Abbas. So this is the man himself, Ibn Jurayj himself, saying about himself, I went to Ata ibn Abi Rabah, he refused to teach me the tafsir of Ibn Abbas. So he went to Ata al-Khurasani and he took the tafsir of Ibn Abbas. Now people, when they see Ibn Jurayj, Ata, automatically it will be Ata ibn Abi Rabah because he is his main teacher. But we know from this story that Ali ibn al-Madini said that he refused to teach him, and then he got it from Ata al-Khurasani, and Ata al-Khurasani is weak. Also, it's broken between him and Ibn Abbas. Bukhari, when he put this hadith in his book, he thought that it's Ata ibn Abi Rabah. But people, his teacher, this is something that he must have missed because he's just a human being. His teacher knew this story, and that's why Ali ibn al-Madini, Abu Mas'ud al-Dimashqi, Abu Ali al-Ghassani all say about this hadith, it is weak. Understand? How can he say now that the whole ummah agree? I mean, the whole ummah and Abu Ali, these people that I have mentioned now are the best people in ilal of hadith. So does it matter really if the old woman in China and in Afghanistan have agreed? What does it matter?
Yes, also in Abu Zur'a said
yeah. No, even Abu Zur'a and Muslim ibn Wara, these people are in time of Muslim and Bukhari, they were not less than them. I mean, Bukhari is famous. He was very good in hadith, Bukhari. He's very, very strong in hadith. However, he was not the only strong person in hadith. And there were some people who were just like him in hadith. And some are better than him, such as Ali ibn al-Madini and Abu Hatim al-Razi. So you don't, just because Bukhari said something, that you are going to neglect all these people. This is just people exaggerations. People like to exaggerate. Like someone, they follow someone, that's finished. Like some people who follow Abu Hanifa, that Abu Hanifa is right all the time. People who follow Shafi'i is right all the time. People exaggerations. So what he says here, that the whole ummah have agreed. And I mean, if we didn't know anyone who said the opposite, it is still a lie to say the whole ummah agreed. Because you have never been with the whole ummah, you have never seen them. How do you know that they have agreed about something? However, when you such think, if he has just opened the book, if you open the book of Ibn Hajar, just one book, he will see that the whole ummah have not agreed. Because Ibn Hajar has dedicated, when he made the Sharh of Bukhari, he dedicated the first part in answering those people who contradicted Bukhari in some hadith. So they said Bukhari should not have narrated this hadith because it is weak. And sometimes he defend him properly, that they are wrong. Sometimes he will defend him and he has really nothing to say, but he will still defend him. You understand? He try. And sometimes he gave up. Sometimes he say, yep, I am trying, but there is nothing I can say. It's like clear. Like this hadith that I mentioned now, at the end he said, I think why these people are right. Maybe Bukhari is right. Maybe Bukhari have seen something else. Maybe, and then he said, but at the end, I just have to admit that every horse sometimes falls down. Like, you understand? So the fact that Bukhari is sahih altogether, that is not true. The hadith Bukhari, there are few hadiths, not many. The best book is Bukhari, but there are still few hadith that are weak. One of them, of course, is this hadith which is not in the condition of Bukhari, which is the hadith of the music. Shaitan. Well, that is one hadith as well. No. The hadith of Khanzab is in Muslim. The hadith that we mentioned is the hadith of Abu Huraira when he caught the Iblis stealing the dates. As like Abu Huraira being able to catch Iblis. That is the power that Allah has not given to someone except for Sulaiman. Sulaiman made dua that Allah gives him the power that should not be given to anyone after him. And the hadith says that Iblis, Abu Huraira caught Iblis. Can you believe this?
Is there another one of Ubay ibn Ka'b?
What?
The same incident?
Yes.
Ubay ibn Ka'b.
Yeah. That hadith is even weaker. This hadith is in Bukhari, but not on the condition of Bukhari, because even Bukhari doesn't consider it to be sahih. Because he will say, Qala Uthman ibn al-Haytham. He doesn't muallaq in Bukhari. You know what ta'liq is? What?
Hadith muallaq.
Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. It's about hadith muallaq. Yeah. So there are some hadith which is muallaq, such as the hadith of music, and the hadith of this hadith of Abu Huraira catching Iblis coming to get dates in Ramadan, like in the whole earth, the food of the kings of the palaces. He come to steal the dates of Medina.
So this one is muallaq
in Bukhari. It's muallaq.
Okay.
It is muallaq and it is weak. The whole hadith is weak. It's not only weak because of the isnad, and because it is weird as well. You understand? So he says, ثم استنبط من ذلك القطع بصحة ما فيهما من الحديث. So Ibn Salah, after he have mentioned the hadith which are in Bukhari and Muslim, after he said that they are sahih altogether, the ummah have accepted them, so he said, now we take from that this hadith are al-qata' bi-sahhatih. There is a matter here. In Jum'ah, I have spoken about this Jum'ah, I have spoken about something, doubts. The religion tell us, don't follow doubts. Yeah? إِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يَغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا. That the doubt will not change something which is true. So the whole religion generally says, keep away from doubts. You have to follow yaqeen. So if you are in doubt about something, it is haram to follow it. Now the Quran, everybody of the Muslims that we know, they say Quran is yaqeen. It comes to us generation after generation. There is no doubt about a word in it. So that is yaqeen. And then they say if hadith comes mutawatir, is also yaqeen. They say, but if hadith comes from ahad, then that hadith is doubt.
And you can't follow that.
But we have to take it. They say that hadith is doubt. Now this is the philosophers who say this. We have the usuliyin who are philosophers. Generally the usul al-fiqh, the usul fiqh of Muslims is written by, you see, we have muhaddithin, we have fuqaha, and we have usuliyin, those who make usul. They make the general rule. The general usul of Shafi'i has his usul made up on hadith, because Shafi'i, he was not from people of kalam. There are people ahlul kalam. Ahlul kalam are people who use philosophy, more of philosophy, mantiq, what we call mantiq.
Like Ibn Taymiyyah or Ibn al-Qayyim or maybe
Ibn al-Qayyim, Ibn Taymiyyah, al-Amidi, al-Ghazali, generally those who came late. Ibn Hazm himself, they use mantiq a lot. No, mantiq is different, philosophy. You understand? It's like they don't come to the matter, they just discuss the matter on the way the philosophers discuss it. You understand? It's like what we call mantiq. You understand?
Common sense.
The mantiq is, I will give you examples later. So what they say here, like look, they say hadith, everybody, human forgets. Human forget. So, if human forget, then if 100 people say something, then definitely this thing happened. 100 people say that. You understand? This one might forget, this one might forget, but 100 people will forget and say the same thing? It's not possible. The Quran came from hundreds of thousands of people, so we have no doubt about it. But if you have one hadith, one chain of narrators, Ismail from Malik, from Nafi', from Ibn Umar, one of these people might have forgotten. Because they are human beings and human beings forget. So, since there is this doubt, we have to say this hadith is done, is just like suspicion. But we still have to take it. Because the majority of the religion comes from this kind of hadith, ahad. If we leave it, so they say the religion ordered us to follow, the Quran tells us to follow the Prophet. If we don't take hadith ahad, we will be, there is no hadith. All the hadith are ahad. So we take it, we have to take it. But we are not going to take it and say, take it, because of the, if we don't take it, we are not following the religion. But we are going to say this is not yaqeen, this is doubts.
Why do you say that?
They say because the fact we are not going to...
the majority say this?
Yes, the majority of the usuliyin. They say we are not going to nullify our aql now and say this is yaqeen. We will be like saying nonsense. This is the opinion of the majority. And from there, from this opinion, they came to the conclusion, when they say, look, this is ijma'. You tell them, how are you sure it's ijma'? They say, well, we have not seen everybody, we have not spoken to everybody, but we look generally, the number of people who said this, since we don't know anyone who said the difference, we are guessing that everybody has agreed. And then you say, yeah, but it's haram to follow guessing. They will say, oh, look, hadith ahad is guessing, and you agree, you take it as well. So you have to agree with us about ijma'.
So if they say like hadith ahad, that's doubt, as though mutawatir cannot be doubt, can you use the ayah which says if you follow the majority, they'll lead you astray? The ayah which says, I think, hellfire, if you follow the majority.
Yeah, what the majority regarding mutawatir?
Yeah, regarding that, can you say that if you
mutawatir has nothing to do. Mutawatir.
No, I'm just saying, like, if they apply that to one is doubtful, like ahad, then you could say in cases of majority, following the majority can lead you astray.
No, you can't use that. I mean, you can discuss with them the fact that hadith ahad is to be accepted. You can argue in that, but to say if you follow the majority about mutawatir, that is not what is we have to. If you follow the majority, definitely of the people of earth, they will lead you astray. But we are not following the majority. Now the majority of those people who are trustworthy are telling us, people have agreed, or people are saying generation after generation that the Prophet said so. And then when people generation after generation, they are not going to make up stories. You understand? When people, so many people say something. Now if there's so many people believe something from their heads or come to a conclusion from their heads, they will lead you astray. But if they say Allah said so, then they are not going
as long as they're trustworthy, isn't it?
No, when it is the tawatur, whether it is trustworthy or not, it doesn't matter. When generation after generation after generation say something, then it does not.
But I mean, like, because they have like ahad, like what, 2 or 3 hadith is like ahad, then tawatur can be from like 4, 7,
no,
70.
Tawatur is not 70, it's not 700. Tawatur is when you see when a number,
like Quran is tawatur.
Now a number that will not, definitely anyone with aql will not, if he says, oh, this number, these people are lying, he will be considered to be crazy. You understand? You see, have you been to Haiti? Haiti, this country where there was the earthquake recently. You heard about story about the earthquake? You heard about tsunami? Do you have a shred of doubt that there was tsunami in that year?
Well, I've seen it on it's too many people, so yeah, there's water.
Doesn't matter if there was a Muslim there or not.
Yeah.
That story can't be. That can't be. That all these people from Algeria, from Tunisia, from South Africa, all they agreed. Let us make this story, and it's not. It doesn't make sense. You understand? So that is tawatur. You don't question it. That is tawatur. But when 20 people, when 60 people, 600 people, 1,000 people say, oh, there was an aeroplane hitting the tower in America. If someone comes now, he says, no, it's not true. Maybe there was no aeroplane. Maybe it was fabricated. Maybe it is. You can't question it.
It's like the sin is on the person if it happened to be something, but with a fasiq we verify, with a Muslim or upright person who
the tawatur we don't need to look.
The ahad, like somebody
for the ahad we have.
We say, okay, for a fasiq we verify, we've been commanded, but for somebody who is adala, his everything is there, then we say we have to accept it, and we don't have no doubts. We take it. If there something happens where this person ends up being a liar on the day of judgment, that sins on him.
No, that will be not.
Okay.
It will not be, because Allah has protected His religion.
Yeah, definitely, of course.
So what happens?
I'm saying the point that they're making. I'm not saying that's how it is. I'm saying the point that they're making. You can't take it.
No, what they say. Let's just concentrate on the on the ahad. Now, when they say the hadith ahad is doubtful, forget about the mutawatir. Okay, mutawatir, we agree with them. We will come to the mutawatir later. We agree that the mutawatir is sahih. Now they say the ahad is not sahih. When you have to have mutawatir, you have to understand this, that mutawatir has to be mutawatir to the fact, up to the fact. Not mutawatir to a liar. A liar says something, and then generation after generation will copy it from him, such as the liar who said Isa. No, like the liar who said Isa is the son of Allah. It's one person started it, and generation after generation take it after.
Sahabi will narrate a hadith and will narrate it to many students. They'll carry on generation to generation.
That is still because the Sahabi is trustworthy, so we have to take it. Now, the people who say hadith ahad, we don't take it. Just let us talk about the hadith ahad. The people who say hadith ahad is not accepted. One person from one person from one person. One of these people might have made a mistake, because everybody can forget. So on that basis, this hadith we have to reject it. Now, Ibn Umar is a human being, he can forget. His student who narrated from him, Nafi', is a human being, he can forget. Malik bin Anas is a human being, he can forget. And then we have to forget so this hadith we are going to take it because everybody is trustworthy, but we don't say it's yaqeen, we say it's dhan. So now if you accept that theory that they have come up with, later you have to accept qiyas, because you say qiyas, look, when you say something haram because they will say, look, you say this is doubt, you are not 100% sure that the Prophet meant it to be. When he said the donkey is haram, he meant also horse is haram. They will say, yeah, it is doubt, but you agree with us that hadith ahad, you take hadith ahad and it is doubt. So you have to stop them when they say hadith ahad is doubt, and say no, hadith ahad is yaqeen. You are saying that the hadith ahad is doubt. What is your proof for that? They say everybody is a human being and can forget. We say, okay, the Quran then is doubt. If you accept that, the Quran is doubt. They say, no, but the Quran came generation after generation. No, that is not true. Before it came generation after generation, where it came from? From the Prophet, a human being. Nobody else heard it from Jibreel except the Prophet. He is one human being. They say, but the Prophet is ma'soom. Where did you find that he is ma'soom? Which ayah say the Prophet is ma'soom? There is ayah in Surah Al-Ma'idah that says, Wallahu ya'asimuka minan nas. Allah will protect you from people. Yeah, He will protect you from people. He will not protect you from forgetting. He will protect you from people. So nobody can harm you, nobody can kill you, and that happened. Well, does the Prophet forget? There is hadith in Bukhari, which is sahih, not because it's in Bukhari, but it's sahih. That where the Prophet said, I am a human being like you. He prayed 2 rak'ah and then he was reminded. He said,
ayah once, I think is
yes. So he said, I am a human being like you. I forget the way you forget. If I forget, remind me. So he said that I forget. He didn't even say that Allah will remind me. If he had the what we call the guarantee that Allah will remind him, he will not tell people remind me. So if someone, nobody can argue about this. It's hadith from the Prophet. There is hadith from Aisha in Bukhari as well, where the Prophet was at home and someone was praying in the mosque, and then he was reciting. The Prophet heard him. He said, who was that? She said, Abbad. He said, may Allah have mercy on him. He just reminded me of an ayah that I have forgotten. So now you say, okay, what is now your answer that the Prophet will not forget the religion? The only answer is إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. That we have sent down the dhikr and we will protect it. Allah will protect it. We'll never make the Prophet forget something. Okay, that ayah will make every trustworthy not forget the hadith. Not the Prophet only. The Prophet and the person who narrates from him and the person who narrates from him, Allah will make them not forget. Every trustworthy that Allah ordered us to follow, Allah will make them not forget, and therefore we have the guarantee that the hadith is sahih. And those who say also, they will contradict themselves when they say, look, the hadith for us is done, is doubt. Every hadith ahad is doubt. And then they say some religion, the religion that came from Quran is yaqeen. The religion that comes from hadith ahad is doubt. But still we have to take it. And they will say, of course, anything that have been known from the Quran and mutawatir, if someone doesn't follow it, he is kafir. If someone doesn't accept it. If it comes from hadith ahad, is fine. The truth is, nobody will become kafir by denying anything if it's by mistake. And everybody who denies something intentionally after he knows that Allah said it, then he is kafir. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And if someone doesn't agree about this, then he will have to say that the religion have changed. You see, every hadith that we have in Bukhari and Muslim, the majority of hadith are ahad. Hadith mutawatir, how many? Hadith mutawatir 2, 3. Hadith ahad, everything else is hadith ahad. Now, if they say this hadith when we hear it, for us is doubt. Okay, what do you say when Ibn Umar heard it from the Prophet directly? Was it for him doubt? When he heard it first time before it comes to us, was it doubt for him? Ibn Umar heard it, so for him it was different hukum, and later it changed. So for him, from the beginning, if he denied it, he would have been a kafir. The Sahaba, all the Sahaba who heard from the Prophet, if they denied it, they wouldn't have been Muslim at all. So that, but later, it's fine for people to deny it, because it's question of, was the person sure or was the person not sure? Did the person understand? Did the person don't understand? That's all. And there is not such change. The hadith, when you hear it, and you know it is sahih, it is sahih. If you take it as yaqeen, if you are not sure, then it is done. And the philosophers did use this, and some people have been very supportive of this opinion, so they can introduce their qiyas and istihsan, and then if you say why, they will say, oh, you have followed doubt from the beginning. You have been following doubt from the beginning, so you might as well take this as well. He says, then Ibn Salah have taken from the fact that Bukhari is accepted by the whole Ummah, he said now the hadith in there are not like every hadith ahad. Now he says the hadith in Bukhari is like narrated by tawatur. You understand? So what he is saying, that it was tawatur at the time of the Sahaba, then it became doubtful until Bukhari wrote them in his book and the Ummah accepted them and they became tawatur again. And now we are yaqeen for sure that every hadith in Bukhari and Muslim is sahih. If it's outside Bukhari and Muslim, it is doubtful. So this is how Ibn Salah, he said, however, he said because the Ummah is ma'suma, the Ummah will not make a mistake. So since they have agreed these hadith are sahih, then the Ummah will not make mistake. He said because of ijma'. We have spoken about ijma' before. We will talk about ijma' later, inshallah. However, Ibn Kathir here, he said this is right and this is good thinking. So Ibn Kathir goes with Ibn Salah in this. He said, however, Nawawi contradict. Nawawi says that Bukhari and Muslim is sahih altogether, but he said the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim are still doubtful. Yeah, sahih but doubtful, not yaqeen, not certainty. Yes, the hadith ahad which are in Bukhari and Muslim. Ibn Kathir says, and rahmakallah, he says, and I am with Ibn Salah in what he says. Ibn Kathir, he says, I support Ibn Salah in his opinion. Now Ibn Kathir, Ahmed Shakir, that is the opinion of the majority. What Ibn Salah said is the opinion of the minority.
What Ibn Salah said is the opinion of
the minority. That the hadith in Bukhari is yaqeen, or any book, other book. If it's ahad, the majority say this hadith is doubtful. Alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Yes. Yes. Something. They say there is different opinion. Now Ahmed Shakir comment. Ahmed Shakir, you know Ahmed Shakir again. Ahmed Shakir comment here, he said they have different opinion regarding hadith sahih. So there is two different opinions regarding hadith sahih, whether it's qat'i thubut or not dhanni thubut. This is how they call it. Qat'i thubut, dhanni thubut. Qat'i thubut, it has proven with certainty that the Prophet said it, such as Quran.
Okay.
Or dhanni thubut, it is doubtful whether the Prophet said it or not. So he says, as for the hadith which is mutawatir, he says, Ahmed Shakir says this matter is very delicate matter. He says, for the hadith which is mutawatir lafdhan or ma'na, the hadith which is mutawatir, which we say mutawatir, many narrations regarding, so there is no doubt about it. So the hadith which is mutawatir, either by lafz, by the words, or by ma'na, with the meaning. Now hadith which is mutawatir by wording, it's almost very difficult to find it. We know one hadith which is in Bukhari and Muslim that is mutawatir by wording. The hadith that says, whoever lies about me, the Prophet says, whoever lies about me, then he should prepare himself or for place in hellfire. This hadith is narrated by so many trustworthy people. Now when matter comes from no trustworthy people, then it has to be a number that there is no doubt about it. There is you look at the circumstances, whether it's possible, is there any reason for these people to make up this story. You understand? Sometimes there is like a bomb in America, you never know. Maybe 1,000 people in America have the CIA has recruited them to say this story for them to invade another country. There is a reason behind it. But for so many people in a different country to say that there was tsunami in Asia, what is the reason behind it? Why will they gather and make up this story? You understand? You can't think of any good reason for people to start such rumor. You understand? Now, the hadith mutawatir, there is mutawatir lafzi, the wording is mutawatir. You see, all the Sahaba narrated this hadith in the same wording, almost the same wording. Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Zubair ibn Awam, Salama ibn Akwa, Abu Huraira, Anas ibn Malik, so many. That is enough to call it mutawatir. 7 is fine, 10 is fine, because they are trustworthy. But what is mutawatir? Ma'nawi. The meaning of it is mutawatir. There is no hadith that says the Prophet, there is no hadith mutawatir that says the Prophet had a companion called Abu Bakr. But we are 100%, 200% that there was a man called Abu Bakr who was the companion of the Prophet. Nobody will doubt about this. No, the people, not the kuffar, not the people who follow Quran only, everybody will agree about this. Even though there is no hadith that say the Prophet had a companion called Abu Bakr. So many people. Abu Bakr came and the Prophet came, Abu Bakr was with him. Abu Bakr, the Prophet was not there, he ordered Abu Bakr to lead the prayer. So many hadith don't specifically talk about the same thing, but it all confirmed that there was a man there called Abu Bakr. So that is mutawatir, not lafzi, ma'nawi. How many hadith says there is 5 prayers? The hadith that says the prayers are 5, how many? 2, 3? Not mutawatir. But is there any doubt about it? That the Prophet, how many hadith that says that the Prophet used to pray Dhuhr and Isha and Maghrib? Hundreds. So there was prayer Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib, even though it is not, there is no specific mutawatir hadith that says mention 5 prayers. But these prayers are repeated in several hadith by several people. Some of them mention 5, some of them mention 2 prayers only, some of them mention, you understand? The Prophet was praying, it speaks about different stories, but then the prayer comes in the middle. So that is clearly also tawatur. That is tawatur ma'nawi. So this kind of hadith, everybody agrees that it is certain, no doubt about it. When it comes to hadith ahad, a matter that is mentioned in one hadith, they will say this is dhan, doubt. So they will say, so he said, so the majority say that the hadith which is ahad is not yaqeen, is not certain. And this is what Nawawi accepts and says. He said some others said no, it is yaqeen and we have to take it. He said this is, he said these are the people, and he mentioned them. He said this is the madhab of Dawud al-Zahiri, Hussein bin Ali Karabisi, Al-Harith bin Asad al-Muhasibi, and Khuwaiz bin Mindad, Ibn Khuwaiz Mindad, the one of the Malikis. He said that Malik is the madhab of Malik. Ahmed Shakir saying this. So Ahmed Shakir saying this madhab, Ahmed Shakir follow this madhab, and he, even Albani follows him, because now they are muhaddithin, but this is the opinion only, it was the opinion only of the Zahiris, not the opinion of the majority, the 4 madhab, official, that hadith ahad is dhanni thubut. So the Zahiris say it is yaqeen, not dhan. That is the opinion known probably first by Dawud al-Zahiri. Ibn Khuwaiz Mindad say Malik had the same opinion. Yes. Now for Ibn Khuwaiz Mindad to say this, he has to say his chain to Malik, how he got it, where he got it from. However, it is known. Sorry? Maghrib is 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah. So he said this is the madhab of Dawood al-Zahiri, Hussein bin Ali Karabisi al-Shafi'i. Yes, he says, and this is al-Harith bin Asad al-Muhasibi and min Khuwaiz min Dad. He says, and this is what Ibn Hazm has chosen, and he mentioned it in his book of al-Ahkam, that the hadith of someone who is trustworthy, from trustworthy to the Prophet, should be considered to be yaqeen, certainty. So he said he have spoken about it in a long and very good research, and he answered to these people who contradict him from the four madhahib. He says, as for Ibn Salah, has chosen that only what is in Bukhari and Muslim, that it is sahih. And he said he said, and he made exception for a few hadith that Daraqutni and other Huffaz have said is da'if. Now look, just earlier he said nobody contradict what's in Bukhari. Everybody agrees that everything is sahih. Now he says here that Ibn Salah have said that every hadith in Bukhari is yaqeen, except for the few hadith that Ibn Daraqutni and other Huffaz don't agree they are sahih. He says here, and he mentioned, after Ibn Kathir says, after I finished, Ibn Kathir says, after he has written what he has written here, he said, after I have finished, I found some talk from our Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah. What he says that hadith which the Ummah have accepted, such as the hadith which are in Bukhari and Muslim, then it is sahih. The Ibn Taymiyyah doesn't mean the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. Ibn Taymiyyah means the hadith which are in Bukhari and Muslim, and every hadith that is known to the people, that are famous to the fuqaha, such as the hadith that Mu'adh bin Jabal, when the Prophet sent him to Yemen, according to a weak hadith, that he told him, how are you going to judge? He said, I am going to judge with the book of Allah. If you don't find, he said, with the sunnah of the Prophet. If you don't find, he said, I am going to use my opinion. This hadith, the fuqaha, and they use it like they say the Prophet said, and they call it sahih. Bukhari say this hadith is da'if. Daraqutni say this hadith is da'if. Ibn Hazm say this hadith is da'if. Tirmidhi say this hadith is da'if. Al-Hakim say this hadith is da'if. Al-Dhahabi, Al-Iraqi, Ibn Rajab Al-Hanbali, Al-Sakhawi, and Ibn Hajar. Now this hadith, when they say it's sahih, because it has no isnad, proper isnad, they say the Ummah has accepted this hadith. They have taken it. So it has to be sahih, even if we don't know it's not sahih for it. So they say the Ummah have accepted it, meaning the muhaddithin, people have been putting this hadith in their books. So you understand? So Ibn Taymiyyah's opinion is that such hadith, not only the Bukhari and Muslim, such hadith that the fuqaha use and you hear the people talking about, should be considered. According to him, if the Ummah, if he says the Ummah is all the person of the Ummah, then the most famous hadith are the hadith that are fabricated. Yeah, the hadith al-Maqasid al-Hasana for Sakhawi, or Kashf al-Khafa wa Muzil al-Ilbas is a book about hadith that are famous amongst people and are made up, so many. So if that is the Ummah, what the Ummah accept is sahih, then we should take these two books, because they talks about hundreds of hadith that are famous amongst people and people consider them to be sahih. So what he says here, Ibn Taymiyyah, he says every hadith that the Ummah have accepted, then it should be considered to be sahih and yaqeen, certainty. And then he said it has been narrated from few of the Imams from leaders of this matter of hadith that they say the same thing. Amongst them is Abdul Wahhab al-Maliki, Abu Hamid al-Isfraini, Abu Tayyib al-Tabari, Abu Ishaq al-Shirazi. All these are Shafi'is. And Ibn Hamid and Abu Ya'la al-Farra and Abu Khattab and Ibn al-Zaghuni, and they are Hanbalis. And also Shams, what we call Shams al-A'imma, al-Sarkhasi. This is Hanafi. So he says, and this is the saying of the majority of the Ash'aris, such as Abu Ishaq al-Isfraini and Ibn Furak. And this is, he says, this is the madhab of Ahl al-Hadith, all the Ahl al-Hadith, and the madhab of the Salaf.
That hadith da'if?
That if hadith ummah accept a hadith and they use it, that hadith should be sahih, even if it is the isnad, we can't find the isnad for it.
The majority accept this.
He says that is the opinion of the majority of the Salaf. That is what he say, what he claims. The Salaf, you have, when you say the majority of the Salaf, you have to explain who are these Salaf. The Sahaba definitely should not be considered here. And the hadith which is sahih, whether it is ahad, whether it is not, then that is definitely certainty. Hadith which has no proper isnad, then it is da'if, it doesn't matter where it comes from. So
I'm astonished how Taymiyyah can say something like that.
Why? No, this is the opinion of Ibn Taymiyyah. This is how people look at the matters, you understand? It's a question of how people look at the matter. You just have to discuss.
They have doubt about hadith ahad, but they don't have doubt about
the hadith. They say the ummah accepted. This is based on this. This is based like this hadith that says the ummah will not agree on something which is wrong. Now this is hadith that everybody who understands hadith will say this hadith is da'if, such as Ibn Tahir al-Silfi, Ibn Rajab, Ibn al-Jawzi, even Nawawi, who is very easy on the matter of hadith, and Ibn Hajar say this hadith is weak. Now you take this hadith and say this hadith, the ummah has accepted this hadith. You understand? When someone tells you, how do you know when the ummah accepts something that it is right to do? Where did you get it from? First, when we talk about ijma', first explain, show me that when the ummah do something, they are right. That is first. Where did you get it from? Because the religion tell us that that is wrong. The religion, the whole of religion, وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مِنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. First, is it right to follow the ummah? The Quran says, قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. And in Surah Zumar, وأمرت لأن أكون أول المسلمين. I have been ordered to be the first Muslim. Now, does Allah order us to be the first Muslim?
Yes.
How can it be possible to be the first Muslim when Adam was Muslim?
First to stand up. First to speak.
submit.
First to stand up for any matter that you see right. If you see something right,
everybody look at everybody and just go.
yeah,
And just
like yes, like everybody. Okay, if the people say it, I will say it. So everybody, if someone says it first, I will be the second.
Yeah.
Nobody will, because if you have to be the second, then there will be never first. The person who is first will be wrong. So if you are supposed to be the second, so you have to be the first to stand up and say, I don't agree about this. This is wrong because the Quran is wrong. It says it's wrong. Yes, if the Quran says it's wrong, then I don't agree with it, and I don't have to follow. If someone says, what's your proof? Who are you? Or something, you say, this is what the Quran says. The Quran says this is order for everybody.
The hadith, yeah, it says Ma'mum will not agree upon a misguidance.
Yeah.
Are they using mafhum mukhalafa? Because
This hadith is da'if unanimously.
Yeah.
That my ummah will not agree on something, on misguidance.
But I don't see ijma' in there. I don't see that it means the ummah will agree. It doesn't make sense. That
No, look, the hadith, my ummah will not agree.
Yeah.
It's not mafhum mukhalafa. If the Prophet said my ummah will not agree on misguidance, then ummah will never agree on misguidance. However, who is...
Are they using
No, they are not.
If they will agree, it's guidance.
Yeah, not mafhum mukhalafa. That is not mafhum mukhalafa really. If they are not agreeing on misguidance, so whatever they agree on is guidance. It's either misguidance or guidance.
So that's not mafhum.
That is not mafhum mukhalafa here. Now, if someone says that the ummah will, whatever the ummah agrees on is guidance, we say first, if this hadith was sahih, then who is the ummah?
Yeah.
The ummah is Isa ibn Maryam. Isa, when he comes later, he is from the ummah. So unless you can say that something has been agreed on from the time when the Prophet was sent until the day the last Muslim dies, that is, and then you can say now the ummah has agreed. As long as there is a Muslim coming, he might disagree.
When Isa comes, the people before have passed away.
Yeah.
The Salaf have passed away.
Yeah, but if we know that everybody before him have said something, and then he agreed with them,
you have to wait in it.
Every time that you disagree with people, you have to disagree for a reason. So if you say, I don't agree with what has been said before, you have to come up with something. I don't agree because Allah said this. The Prophet said this. And if someone says, the Ummah have agreed. No, the Prophet didn't agree. Look, I just told you the Prophet said this. So the Prophet is from the Ummah. And he didn't agree.
Didn't agree upon what?
Also, that is, if the Prophet said the Ummah will agree. Actually, the Prophet, from the hadith of the Prophet, that shows that the Ummah will agree on something which is wrong. You see, when we have been ordered to be one united Ummah and not to divide at all. And then the Prophet, when Hudayfa was asking him questions, he said, what will happen? He told him at the end, people will be divided into groups. Hudayfa said, if that time reaches me, what should I do? He said, keep with the Jama'ah of the Muslimin and their leader. You have to be Jama'at al-Muslimin and their leader. But when Hudayfa said, what if there is no Jama'ah, there is no leader, which is an obligation? He didn't say, this will never happen. My ummah will not agree on something wrong. He said, if it doesn't happen, keep away. So it was possible that there will be no Jama'at al-Muslimin, there will be misguidance. It's possible that one time people will agree on something which is wrong. So he would have told him, no, don't say this. This will never happen.
Where's the hadith?
In Bukhari, with the book of Fitan. Bukhari and Muslim, but in Bukhari it's in book of Fitan. So now, also, if the ijma' was right, how can you find it? How can you really find that there is ijma'? How can you know that everybody agrees? The Prophet was with the Sahaba in a battle, and everybody was there. And then he had to make a decision. That decision had to be agreed by everybody. What happened? They fought against some people. They got their property, their women, their children as war booty. Now, these people thought about themselves. They thought, okay, let's become Muslim and get back our property, our women. It's like they have no other solution. Now they have come back to their senses. They decided to become Muslim. They came to the Prophet and said, we know that we were wrong. We are Muslim now. We want back what you have taken from us. Now, when they took it from, they were kafir. They don't have to give it back. So the Prophet wanted to do something to help them, like to reject them. He said, I can't give you both. Like these people they have came to war and they have fought. You can't just take everything from them. So he said, I will tell you the truth. Choose one of two, your property or your women and children. They said, we choose our women and children. So he wanted the Sahaba to give back the women and children because it's their right. They fought for it and they got it as war booty. He asked them and he said, oh people, your brothers came, they made tawbah and they want their women. I have promised them their women and their children. Who want to give it back? Just for free, for nothing. Or if you want, you can just give it back and the next time when we get something, I will give you compensation. The Sahaba there said, we agree. Nobody stood up and said, I don't agree. This is what people call ijma'. Less than this, people say, if Umar ibn Khattab make a speech and nobody answered, they say, everybody agreed. If anyone didn't agree, he should have stood up. So they call it ijma'. Now, is there ijma' then better than this? He say, people said, we agree. And they say, if Umar ibn Khattab make a speech and nobody stand up in the mosque, at the time when the Sahaba were different countries, they say, that means everybody agreed. And we have to think that everybody heard about it, nobody had problem. Because if someone had a problem, he should have stood up and said no. And with that, we take it as ijma'. But the Prophet, who understand the religion better, he said, oh people, I don't know who did agree, who didn't. Even though everybody shouted, I agree, nobody stood up. He said, I don't know who agreed, who didn't. So I am going to send your leaders to you, and you have to talk to them and see who agreed, who didn't. So he went and asked them one by one to decide that they agreed. This is the ijma' that the Prophet doesn't accept. Because someone come now and say, the Ummah has agreed. How do you know? Do you know even their names? Do you know the names of the Ummah to say that you know who, that they agreed about something? You understand? So when the Ummah have agreed about all this is something that we can talk about, inshallah, when we talk about ijma'. About what?
The one with people beauty.
Yeah, it's in Bukhari, in the book of selling, in the book of conditions, in the book is the hadith of Marwan ibn Hakam and Miswar ibn Makhrama. It's the same hadith, continues about the ghazwa of in the Battle of Hudaybiyah. It speaks about Hunayn. It is the hadith of Hunayn, but it is the same isnad as the. Okay, so inshallah we finished with the talking about the general hadith. Next week inshallah we talk about hadith Hasan. What is hadith Hasan? Do you understand a little bit about ta'liq now?
Yeah.
It is a bit important to know it. It is part of the hadith munqati', but inshallah when we go to the hadith munqati', we can talk about it again.